Good evening, and welcome back to Footnotes and Folly. Volume 5, Sonnets 72-89 is shadowed by a stranger, a rival poet, a bitter spirit who has begun writing to the young man too, and is winning his favour. Around that wound cluster some of the most famous poems of all: the dying autumn of Sonnet 73, and the cold, heartbroken farewell of 87. Watch the poet first talk himself out of his own death and into immortal verse, and then, as the young man drifts toward the rival, do the most unsettling thing in the whole sequence: take the other side, against himself.
Oh, in case the world should make you explain what worth there was in me, that you should love me after my death, dear love, forget me utterly, for you can prove no worth at all in me, unless you invent some virtuous lie to do more for me than I deserve, and hang more praise upon my dead self than grudging truth would ever willingly give. Oh, in case your true love should look false this way, speaking well of me out of love and not fact, let my name be buried where my body is, and live no longer to shame either me or you. For I am ashamed of the things I bring forth, and so should you be, to love things worth so little.
The morbid streak of Sonnet 71 darkens further: not only forget me when I die, but be ashamed you ever loved me. The self-contempt is startling, and it sits directly before the most beautiful poem about aging ever written.
You can see in me that time of year when yellow leaves, or none, or only a few, still hang on the branches that shake against the cold bare ruined choirs, where not long ago the sweet birds sang. In me you see the twilight of a day that fades in the west after sunset, soon carried off by black night, death's own twin, which seals everything up in rest. In me you see the glowing of a fire that lies on the ashes of its own youth, as on the deathbed where it must burn out, consumed by the very thing that once fed it. You perceive all this, and it makes your love stronger to love well that which you must soon give up.
One of the supreme poems in the language, aging in three dissolving images: autumn, dusk, a dying fire, each one nearer and shorter than the last. And the famous turn: this ought to make you love me less, and instead it makes you love me more, because soon you will lose me.
But be content. When that cruel arrest carries me off without any chance of bail, my life still has some stake in these lines, which will stay with you always as a memorial. When you reread this, you reread the very part of me that was set apart for you. The earth can have only the earth, which is its due. My spirit is yours, and that is the better part of me. So all you lose is the dregs of life, a prey of worms, my dead body, the cowardly conquest of a wretch's knife, far too base a thing for you to remember. The true value of that body is what it held, and that is this verse, and this remains with you.
The answer to 71 and 72, never mind the body, the worms can have it. The real man is in the poem, and the poem stays with you. He has reasoned his way out of his own death by relocating his soul into his verse.
You are to my thoughts what food is to life, or what sweet seasonal showers are to the ground. And for the peace of having you, I wage the same kind of war a miser wages over his wealth. Now proud to enjoy it, and soon afraid that the thieving age will steal his treasure. Now thinking it best to be alone with you, then thinking the world had better see my pleasure. Sometimes gorged completely with looking at you, and soon after starving for a single glance. Possessing or pursuing no delight at all except what I have from you, or must take from you. So I pine and gorge from one day to the next, either devouring everything, or having it all taken away.
Love as an eating disorder: he gorges on the sight of the beloved, then starves, then gorges again. The miser of the earlier poems is back, now hoarding glances. Nobody has ever described the feast and famine of obsession more exactly.
Why is my verse so bare of any new pride, so far from variation or quick change? Why, with the fashion, do I not glance aside to newfound methods and strange combinations? Why do I write always the one thing, always the same, and keep my invention in a familiar dress, so that almost every word betrays my name, showing where it was born and how it was made? Oh, understand, sweet love, that I always write of you, and that you and love are still my only subject. So all my best is dressing old words new, spending again what has already been spent. For as the sun is daily new and old, so is my love, still telling what has been told.
He admits the charge outright: every poem is the same, and every poem is about you. Then he defends it: the sun is new every morning, and yet always the sun. A poet confessing he is a want-subject man, and turning even that into a compliment.
Your mirror will show you how your beauty wears away, your sundial how your precious minutes are wasted. These blank pages will take the imprint of your mind, and from this little book you may taste the following lesson. The wrinkles your mirror honestly shows you will remind you of open-mouthed graves. By the sundial's stealthy shadow you may learn time's thievish progress toward eternity. Look, whatever your memory cannot hold, commit it to these empty pages, and you will find those thoughts, nursed and delivered from your brain, ready to make a fresh acquaintance with your mind. These exercises, as often as you do them, will profit you and greatly enrich your book.
Apparently the young man was given a blank notebook, along with a mirror and a sundial, as a gift, and this poem came tucked inside it. Write your thoughts here, says the poet. The real present is the habit of paying attention. Charming, and just faintly schoolmasterly.
So often have I called on you as my muse, and found such fair help for my verse, that every other pen has copied my habit, and now scatters its poetry under your patronage. Your eyes, which taught the dumb to sing aloud and heavy ignorance to fly on high, have added feathers to the learned's wing, and given grace itself a double majesty. Yet be proudest of what I compose, whose every influence is yours and born of you. In the work of others, you only improve the style, and their arts are merely graced by your sweet qualities. But you are all of my art, and you raise my rude ignorance as high as learning itself.
The first hint of competition. Others are writing to the young man now. He concedes they have talent and he has none, but insists that in their work the beloved is mere ornament, while in his, the beloved is the whole thing. The rival poet had entered the room.
While I alone called upon your help, my verse alone had all your gentle grace. But now my graceful lines have fallen into decay, and my sick muse gives up her place to another. I grant, sweet love, that your lovely subject deserves the labor of a worthier pen, and yet whatever your poet invents about you, he first robs from you, and only pays it back again. He lends you virtue, but he stole that word from your own behavior. He gives you beauty, but he found it in your cheek. He can give you no praise except what already lives in you. So do not thank him for whatever he says, since what he owes to you, you pay for yourself.
He counterattacks the rival with a clever argument. That other poet has nothing to give you that he did not first take from you, so why thank him? Jealousy, dressed up as logic, fooling no one, least of all the poet himself.
Oh, how I lose heart when I write of you, knowing a better spirit uses your name, and spends all his power in praising you, leaving me tongue-tied when I speak of your fame. But since your worth, as wide as the ocean, carries the humblest and the proudest sail alike, my saucy little boat, far inferior to his, wilfully sets out upon your broad water. Your shallowest help will keep me afloat while he rides upon your soundless deep, or if I am wrecked, I am a worthless boat while he is built tall and full of goodly pride. So, if he thrives and I am cast away, the worst of it is this: my love was my undoing.
Now the rival is a great galleon, and the poet a leaky rowing boat bobbing on the same sea. The seafaring image is sustained, self-deprecating, and a little desperate. He can feel the young man's attention drifting toward the better writer.
Either I shall live to write your epitaph, or you will still be alive when I am rotted in the earth. From here on, death cannot take your memory away, although every part of me will be forgotten. Your name, from this point, shall have immortal life, even though I, once gone, must die to all the world. The earth can yield me only an ordinary grave, while you shall lie entombed in the eyes of men. Your monument shall be my gentle verse, which eyes not yet created will read over, and tongue still to come will recite your being, when everyone who breathes this world today is dead. You shall live on such power my pen has where breath breathes most, in the mouths of men.
He weighs his own oblivion against the young man's immortality and takes the bargain gladly. I will be forgotten, you will not, because of this verse. And, as ever, the boast came true in the cruelest way. The very name he swore to preserve is the one thing history has lost.
I grant you were never married to my muse, and so may, without offense, look over the dedicated words that writers use for their fair subjects, blessing every book. You are as fair in knowledge as in your looks, finding your worth greater than my praise can reach, and so you are driven to seek out some fresher stamp from these improving times. Do so, love, and yet, when they have devised whatever strained effects rhetoric can lend, you, who are truly fair, were truly captured in true plain words by your true-speaking friend. Their heavy painting might be better used on cheeks that need the blood. In you, it is only wasted.
He gives the young man leave to read the rival's dedications, then undercuts them. Their overwrought style is just makeup, and makeup is for faces that need it, not yours. The jealousy keeps finding fresh disguises, each one a little thinner.
I never saw that you needed any painting, and so to your fair self applied none. I found that you went far beyond the empty offering a poet owes as his debt. And so I have been slow to report your worth, so that you yourself, being alive, might show how far a modern pen falls short when it tries to say what worth keeps growing in you. You counted this silence of mine as a sin, when it should be most to my glory to stay dumb, for, being silent, I do no harm to beauty, while others, trying to give it life, only bring it tomb. There is more life in one of your fair eyes than both your poets could ever invent in praise.
Now his very silence becomes a virtue. I praised you least, he says, because you need no praise, and the others, straining to give you life, only embalm you. A poet defending his own writer's block as the highest possible compliment. Audacious.
Who is it that says most? What can anyone say more than this rich praise that you alone are you? Within what limits is stored the rare material that would serve as the equal of your example? A lean poverty lives in that pen which does not lend its subject some small glory. But he who writes of you, if he can only say that you are you, has dignified his whole story. Let him merely copy what is written in you, not making worse what nature made so clear, and such a copy will make his wit famous and his style admired everywhere. But you to your fair blessings add a curse, being too fond of praise, which makes your praises worse.
The cleverest move in the rival sequence. The highest praise of you is simply you are you, so the rival, straining for more, can only fail. And then the sting: you enjoy flattery too much, and that appetite cheapens you. Adoration and rebuke in a single breath, again.
My tongue-tied muse minds her manners and keeps still, while comments on her praise, richly compiled, are preserved in a golden pen and a precious phrase, polished by all the muses. I think good thoughts while others write good words, and like an unlettered parish clerk, still cry amen to every hymn that an abler spirit produces in well, refined and polished form. Hearing you praised, I say it is so, it is true, and to the fullest praise I add something more, but only in my thought, whose love for you, though my words come last, still holds first rank. So respect others for the breath of their words. Respect me for my silent thoughts, which speak in deeds.
He sits in silence while the rival reels off polished praise, and can only mutter amen like an illiterate clerk in church. Yet the love behind his silence, he insists, ranks first. A great poet pretending to be a tongue-tied nobody is its own kind of showing off.
Was it the proud full sail of his great verse, bound for the prize of you, the all-too precious you, that made my ripe thoughts sit dead inside my brain, making their tomb out of the womb where they had grown? Was it his spirit, taught by spirits to write above a mortal pitch, that struck me dead? No, neither he, nor his nightly companions who help him, can boast of having silenced my verse. Neither he, nor that agreeable familiar ghost which nightly stuffs him full of knowledge, can claim, as winners, that they struck me dumb. I was not sick from any fear of theirs. But when your face filled up his lines, then I lacked subject matter, and that is what weakened mine.
The climax of the rival sequence, and a genuine mystery. Who was this better spirit with his affable familiar ghost? Marlowe, Chapman, others scholars have argued for 400 years. But the real confession is the ending. It was not the rival's skill that silenced him, it was the young man's affection going elsewhere.
Farewell, you are too dear for me to possess, and you likely know your own worth well enough. The charter of your value sets you free, and all my claims on you have now expired. For how can I hold you except by your granting it? And where do I deserve such riches? The grounds for this fair gift are lacking in me, and so my patent on you swerves back to you. You gave yourself, not knowing your own worth then, or else mistaking me, the one you gave yourself to. So your great gift, handed over on a misjudgment, comes home again, now that better judgment has been made. So I have had you, as a flattering dream has you, in sleep, a king but waking, no such thing.
The great renunciation and pure heartbreak he gives the young man back to himself entirely in the cold language of legal contracts, charter, value, patent, bonds. In sleep a king, but waking no such thing. If this relationship has an ending, this poem is it.
When you are disposed to think little of me and hold my merits up to public scorn, I will take your side, even against myself, and prove you virtuous, though you have broken your word. Knowing my own weaknesses best of all, I can, on your behalf, tell a story of hidden faults in which I am the guilty one, so that, in losing me, you shall win much glory. And I shall gain something by this as well, for, bending all my loving thoughts toward you, the wrongs that I do to myself, since they do you good, do me twice the good in return. Such is my love, and so completely do I belong to you, that for your sake I will bear all the blame.
He volunteers to slander himself, so the young man will look better for leaving him. For your right, myself will bear all wrong. This is past devotion and into something almost frightening, love as the total erasure of one's own interests.
Say that you abandon me for some fault, and I will enlarge upon that offense. Speak of my lameness, and I will at once start to limp, putting up no defense against your reasons. You cannot, love, disgrace me half so badly, to give a decent shape to your wish, for change as I will disgrace myself knowing your wishes, I will at once become a stranger, stay away from the places where you walk, and on my tongue your sweet beloved name shall live no longer, in case I, too irreverent, should do it some wrong, and perhaps tell of our old acquaintance. For your sake I will argue against my own self, for I must never love the one whom you hate.
The companion to 88, name any fault and he will adopt it, even pretend to be lame, if the young man calls him so. He vows to become a stranger and never to speak the beloved's name again. The self-abolition is now complete, you almost want to look away. 18 sonnets, and a rival has walked in. A better spirit, with his great full-sailed verse and his affable familiar ghost, is courting the young man, and the poet's response moves through every stage of jealousy, clever argument, self-deprecation, the leaky boat beside the galleon before arriving somewhere stranger than jealousy altogether. In Sonnet 87 he renounces the beloved in the icy language of legal contracts, in sleep a king but waking no such thing. And in 88 and 89 he does the truly disquieting thing, he volunteers to slander himself, to limp if he is called lame, to take the young man's side against his own. Around all of this stand two of the greatest poems in English, 73, On Growing Old, and 74, On a Soul That Outlives the Body in Verse. What to read next, Volume 6. Until then, mind the footnotes. In short, Sonnet 73, Aging in 3 Dissolving Images, Autumn, Dusk, A Dying Fire. Sonnet 74, Never mind the body, the real man lives on in the verse. Sonnet 78-86, the rival poet a better spirit courts the young man away. Sonnet 87, the great farewell in sleep a king, but waking no such thing. Sonnets 88-89, the poet volunteers to slander himself, taking the beloved's side against his own.